Welcome back to the channel, guys. Got a 66 Impala coming in the shop today to get some air ride installed. Just finished up a hydraulic install, so the shop's looking pretty messy. So I'll get that all cleaned up. Got the X-frames to the side, so as soon as I get done with that Impala, I'll be going heavy on these frames. Gotta take that one to get sandblasted and start wrapping that one. Guys, this thing looks even better in person. He sent me pictures of it a couple days ago, said I want you to bag it, and this thing is beautiful and it's gonna look even better bagged. So he wants this thing low as possible, he said, and like you guys know, I like it low. So this caught me for a surprise. It's manual and it's a big block. This thing's tight. Now I know I'm supposed to be cleaning the shop right now, but I just want to keep looking at this car because this car is beautiful. I'm telling you guys, I promise you videos do not do justice of this car. But check out the big block. And here's all the parts we're working with. Open that up in a second. Slam Specialty slam bags. And we went with AccuAir management. This stuff's pretty cool. Check it out, check it out. There's a controller. And we should be able to control this with our phones too. There's an app you can download and it'll all be digital, but the customer wanted that, and he wanted the remote just in case if his phone died or something. So that's always nice to have a backup. Via compressor. Here's the whole kit, guys. You got your cups, your wiring, your hoses, your hardware, air tank, manifold, pressure sensors, compressor, bags, and management system. I got this whole entire kit from Phil at Twisted Images. He's a real good buddy of mine, and he does a lot of bag stuff. So check out his website. I will drop his link below, and contact him for any of your bag needs. Like I said, he has tons of stuff on hand, ready to ship out. Super fast shipping, super great dude. So definitely check him out. So let me guys show you what I'm working with. Got a nice big open trunk for me to do whatever I want to do. Probably put the tank going this way along the center. Put the compressor off to the side because he might be running another compressor in the future. So I'll keep that in mind when I'm building the setup. Went ahead and threw the tank in there and the compressor, and I don't really like the way it looks, honestly. I couldn't figure out where to mount the single compressor. I mean, I could mount it to the side or something. I don't know. I didn't really care for it too much. So luckily, Phil hooked us up again. So we got another compressor. We'll be running duals on this bad boy, so he shouldn't have any air issues. Oh yeah, much better. It just helps with my OCD. I don't know, I'm just weird about things, and I like everything to be symmetrical, and just having one compressor over there, it was kind of ticking my nerves a little bit. So happy the customer decided to go with 2 compressors. Also got in the mail today new headers, collectors, gaskets. The car right now currently has long tube headers on there, so I'll take those off, install those on as well. And as everyone knows, long tube headers, they sit a lot lower. I mean, they sound good, but once we slam these cars down, they're just honestly in the way. And those will probably bottom out before anything else. So I'll get those swapped out and go from there. So before we can install the bags, obviously we have to take out the factory suspension. So I'll take out the strut, and then the axle will drop down. It'll allow me to drop the spring down, and then we can mount the bag in place of where the spring is. And just like that, everything is out. Super simple on these old cars. I sometimes love working on old cars because they're simple, but sometimes I hate them because they can be rusty or dirty or whatever. Seized nuts, seized bolts. Sometimes it's a pain, sometimes I like it. This is what the rear bag is going to look like, but assembled in the car. You'll have your retaining plate, if you want to call it that, your cup, and your bottom mounting plate. So guys, this bag is in. Just have to snug up that nut, but I can't get to it from the back very well. So what I'm gonna do is grab a hole saw, I love these things, and pretty much cut a nice perfect circle right there, and that'll allow me to get my ratchet in there. Really easy to get to, so if anybody ever has to work on it in the future, it'll be real easy for them too, and make my life a lot easier. Try to get to it from the back, and I couldn't get a socket on there, I couldn't get a ratcheting wrench on there or anything, so I'm just gonna cut a little hole right there. It doesn't actually go to anything, it's just like it's a real thin lip, so it's not gonna drill through the trunk pan or anything like that. Now I'll go in and just cut along those blue lines and deburr it so there's no nice sharp edges or anything like that. And there you go, you can see that nice clean cut with the exposed bolt. Now I can get my ratchet or wrench on there and tighten that thing up. I'll hit that with some undercoat so it's not raw metal to prevent rust. Tighten that down, slap the wheel on, we'll see how low it gets. Guys, look at this. That thing is tucking. This thing looks so good. Haven't done the front yet. Still got to do the driver's side, but golly, look at it. That looks so good. Got this bag installed on this side, so the rear bags are in. You know what these things remind me of? Well, this car reminds me of, do you guys remember when you'd go to like the flea market or you'd go to a Love's and they have the model cars with the big wheels? That's what this car reminds me of. My dad used to have a bunch of them when I was a little kid, and he would always modify the axles to drop them down. Now that I got the back two bags in, I'm gonna go ahead and install the shorty headers on there, just in case when I install the front bags, I don't want it to like bottom out on the headers right away. So I'm just gonna go ahead and knock this out first before I start installing the bags on the front. And I'm not even sure if the headers are actually gonna hit the ground, but I know this thing has 2-inch drop spindles on it, so I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'm just gonna go ahead and replace them now. And lucky for me, the bolts are pretty easy to get to. It doesn't have the evaporator box there like my car does, because I have to go from underneath the car to get to the back 2 header bolts on this side. This side's looking a little bit more difficult since that power steering box is right there. Hopefully it wiggles out pretty smooth and easy. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but pretty much hugs around that power steering right there. But the bolts are easy to get to, so shouldn't be too bad, hopefully. Alright guys, we got the passenger side header out. Wasn't too bad at all. It actually came out pretty easy. The driver's side, we'll see. I don't think it's going to come out that easy. Got the passenger side shorty header in. Had a little trouble because it was hitting the control arm right there. So I had to notch that in a little bit, but no big deal. It's notched, it clears, and it is in. So now to do the driver's side. Got that bad boy out, and oh my god, that boy was bad. It's horrible getting that header out. But it's out. I'm happy. I've been fighting with it for like an hour and a half, but I was able to get it out. Thanks to my boy Tonio coming over here helping me out, lending a helping hand. That was a project and a half, but I finally got the other header in there. It was not fun at all. Just pulled up to Phil's house to grab some fittings from him, and look at his cars. This thing's pretty dope. 61 Brookwood, and of course that's on air. And he has, where's the little dad sons? What's up, man?
What are you doing?
Just filming some YouTube stuff.
Oh, love it. Come show off.
This one's my favorite right here. It's unfinished projects. This thing's dope. Like I said before, guys, Phil has everything in stock. So he has compressors, bags, linkages, hydro e-brakes, whatever you need. Has most of the stuff and get it out to you pretty quick. So if you guys need anything air related, that's the man over there. Thanks, Twisted Images. We are back with the goods. These are the fittings I had to go grab, little reducers to screw in the pressure sensors to the manifold. And I grabbed some of these just to cycle the suspension. I have to take the car to the exhaust shop tomorrow to have the downpipe made for the shorty headers. So just in case I don't get all this installed today, I'll at least have these to air up the car to get it to the exhaust shop. I'm gonna start taking out the front suspension now. Unbolt the shocks like we did back there. Drop the upper ball joint, let the control arms go down, take the spring out, slap the bags in. So the way this kit goes in, this all thread goes through the frame where the shock would normally go, and on the bottom it sits on top of the lower control arm and just bolts in. So this is a complete bolt-in kit. You don't have to do any really modifying of anything except For the frame, I'm gonna see if I'm gonna have to. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to notch the frame out right there to allow clearance for the bags. There you have it. The front suspension is out. Let's see, where's our bracket? And this bad boy is gonna go like that. Yeah, like that. That's how it's gonna go. So we'll take that bolt out. That'll go through there, hold that in place, drill a couple holes in the side, and run the bolts and washers through. Got the bag put in there. Still have to add a bolt there and clean up that. I had to cut the bump stop off. So I'll get that all cleaned up and just cycle the suspension and see what everything looks like to see what I have to trim out. But don't worry guys, I'm definitely gonna trim that. I'm not gonna leave it there. Slap the wheel on now and see what it looks like. All right, we put the wheels back on and we lowered it down. It's tucking rim, but I don't think it's low enough personally. And I know he's not going to be happy with it. I found the issue though. It has a shock bracket on the bottom of the, what's it called? The back plate. Anyways, so the shock bracket is actually hitting the spring pocket. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably shave that down or cut it all the way off, and then it'll really allow it to lay down. Looks much better. Much better. That's acceptable right there. There is a little bit of rubbing on the bag on the back side. So right there on the blue, I'm just gonna trim around there so the bag doesn't rub and puncture, as well as clean up the welds from the bump stop and smooth it all out so there's no sharp edges. And drill the holes for the bracket. This one is bolted in on the bottom. And I cut the bump stop off, cleaned up the welds right there, and notched the spring pocket. So now I should have plenty of clearance for the bag and have no issues with that. Cut a hole in the trunk, put a rubber grommet in there so that way it doesn't cut or rub the hoses. You don't want any air leaks, so that fits nice and snug. It ain't going nowhere. And all 4 hoses are gonna go through there and to the manifold. Guys, it is finally on all 4 corner bags. Finally. It's laying out pretty good too. Got the airlines ran to the back. So for now, like I said before, just to get it to the exhaust shop, I just teed it off with the airline. And I just have to connect the T to the front. So I have the lines labeled, so tomorrow when I get it back from the exhaust shop, I can hook them up to the manifold. This is the layout how I'm gonna run the setup on it. I have the air tank right there, management right there, compressors off to the side, and the valve behind the compressor, as well as the solenoid. Try to run it back here somewhere, kind of hide it, keep out the way. That'll of course get mounted in the engine bay. So this is what we're looking like. I'm also going to build a metal stand for it, kind of like a little podium for everything to bolt directly up to, and that's going to get mounted with some riv nuts. Drill a hole in the trunk, put these in there. If you haven't used these things are awesome. Riv nuts are, they're almost my favorite thing next to zip ties because these things are dope. Got all my measurements written down, all the hole sizes, and the placement of everything. So now I'm gonna enter this into the CAD software and have the machine cut out my plate. Got all the holes put in the CAD software and the plate made. If I can get it to orbit, there we go. So all those will be pre-punched for me. And then I'll cut out another strip that'll go along there that I'll weld in and mold. Same thing on the sides. But pretty much went from that to that. Guys, I just want to say I absolutely love having a plasma table. This thing is probably the second best thing I've ever bought in my life. Look at this thing. So this is going to be the plate that everything mounts up to. Let's see. Look at that. Manifold. It's going to bolt there. Management right there. And the compressor is going to mount there, and the air tank will sit right there. Alright, so I got the piece cleaned up, all the plasma green taken off of it, and this is going to sit right there. So I'll tack weld that in and then slowly start to bend it and then lay a nice fat bead all the way across there. What you guys think? Leave the welds or grind them down and mold it? Got one little tiny pinhole. Oh well. Overall looks pretty good though. Pretty happy with it. Cut out these little brackets and bent them at a 90 degree. And those will get welded onto the side of the mounting plate. Got the brackets tack welded in and the hose drilled through the trunk. So now I just gotta take this out, insert the riv nuts, and this Johnny will be mounted. Got the setup in, got them bolted down, everything wired up. Gonna run to AutoZone real quick and grab a wire loom for the power wires right there. Then I'll be able to power this thing up and let's see it work. So the cool thing about this management system is you can control it with your phone, set your presets, and you get a remote, wired remote. So that works. And that works. Back. So this thing's pretty dope. Got it outside of the shop. And I'm running the calibration on it right now. So I got the car on, letting it idle so it doesn't kill the battery. So now it's just going through its cycle, raising the car up and down by itself to get it all calibrated. So while that's running its calibration, check out this car, guys. This is my buddy Bailey's car. It's a M4, wide-bodied M4. There's his YouTube right there, so check him out. This thing's nuts. Very wide. He has 345 tires on it, on the rears. Custom monolock wheels. So what I'm doing to it is I'm just gonna stitch weld the quarter panels back together and notch the firewall out so when he turns it doesn't rub. So stay tuned for that video, guys, because that's coming up next. Well, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at this dope car, and I also hope some people learned something. That's the whole purpose of these videos, to kind of maybe teach some people. I know there's stuff on the internet, but you know, it always helps to have a video of a walkthrough on how to do some of this stuff. So don't be shy, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, please, and thank you. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace.